Well, this is really fun for me because I have been stalking our next guest for actually a couple months now. And then I had the nerve to jump out of my comfort zone and just ask her like, hey, you want to be on our podcast? And she said yes. And I did like this happy dance. I was like doing the whole all around like, she said yes. She said yes. She said yes. I was jumping everywhere. I was so excited. And today we get to spend some time with Kelly Swanson. And I just want to tell you a little bit about her, first of all. Kelly is an award-winning storyteller, and I want to say that enunciated again, award-winning storyteller, because if you go on her YouTube channel, which you better subscribe, and you better talk to her, and you just better be her friend, but more importantly, subscribe. Did I say subscribe? Go to her YouTube channel because you want to hear her telling her stories. I literally peed my pants. Everyone over 40 can say amen right now. Raise your hands all together. She is a comedian, a motivational speaker, Huffington Post contributor, the cast member of the Fashion Hero television show airing on Amazon Prime. Pee your pants there too. She's so good. She's also the author of Who Hijacked My Fairy Tale, The Land of If Only, The Story Formula, and the Gutsy Girl's Pocket Guide to Public Speaking. She was the featured entertainer for Holland America's Cruise Line, keynote speaker for the International Toastmasters Convention, and has keynoted major conferences and corporate events from coast to coast. Kelly, her wacky wit and powerful stories have charmed hearts, tickled funny bones for over 15 years. In addition to her role as a funny motivational speaker, Kelly teaches people how she does it by sharing what she has learned about connecting and engaging to have more influence in business through the use of one tool, the strategic storytelling. Sharing her own powerful journey through story and the formula she discovered, you come to this magical place where the art of story meets the business of persuasion. And if you have more, everything about Kelly, you're going to know in our show notes. We're going to throw everything in there so that you too can be stalkers like us. But before we say hello, I want to tell you, if you have friends who are in business, you have friends who are in, they're entrepreneurs, running their own business, multi-level marketing, direct sales, all the people needing to know all the things. This is a podcast you need to share with them because Kelly is going to blow your mind. Kelly, welcome to the For Real Life.
Well, thanks. Nice to be here. And after a build-up like that, there's no time left in the show.
Well, it's nice to talk to you. Nice to see you. Have a great day.
Yeah, so there you go. That's all you need to know. I can't live up to that bio.
Mic drop and done.
Oh, yes, you can.
Done. But no, thank you. I appreciate all the kind words. It made me want to first say, wait a minute, did you think you got the right person? But it's nice to be stalked. I've never really had a stalker before, so hey, it's good.
I think it's illegal, so don't say that very many more times. So
okay, I won't.
In some states.
And nobody's waiting in my bushes to see me in a bathing suit. It ain't happening.
Oh, it's so fun. I always say if I even dare to put a bathing suit on, I was laughing. I'm like, oh, you guys, someone hide me because as soon as I get this bathing suit on, I know helicopters are going to start coming because Sports Illustrated has been knocking my door down, and I know they're going to try to sneak a photo in. So everyone try to hide me. So I figure I make them laugh.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that paparazzi. That plus-size paparazzi's out of demand. They're looking for me.
Plus-size paparazzi struggle is real.
Ooh, say that 10 times, huh?
Struggle is real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Kelly, how did all this get started? Motivational speaking, comedian, where did it start?
I have to say by accident. Everybody's like, how did this happen? How did you do this? How did you do that? I mean, I had one goal, and it was to get married and have kids. And that's what you went to school for.
Yeah. Oh, I went to that school.
You go to school to get your MRS degree, the MRS degree.
Yeah. So it didn't happen that way. And I remember that, it's hard to even know where to begin. But backing up before that, I was always the shy kid, which makes it even more amazing to see where I ended up. The kid that I turned beet red if you looked at me, spent most of my day. I was the picked on kid, the bullied kid, spent most of my days wishing I was invisible. And so to see that this is what I'm doing is just a really divine appointment, I guess. But I didn't set out for it. I just went in the doors when they opened, and I always had the ability to tell a good story and didn't think anything would come of it. I just wrote these stories about these characters in real life and people, and they were funny and they were real and they were just for me. But after I majored in English because that's what somebody said to do. Sounds good. I like to read. Okay. So, and got out of college just really, again, not really having any direction, except I love stories. And I took and I promise I'm almost done. I took a writing class at a community college after I got out of school, and a bunch of teachers were taking it for credit. And one of them, we had to read our stories, and they were all like, "Oh my gosh, your story's good, but the way you tell it is even better. Where did you learn how to do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just real to me. I see it. I don't know." And so they said, "Would you come to our school and start telling stories and to the kids?" And so that's how it started. I hated it. No offense. I mean, I got a kid, he's great, but they don't appreciate really what you do. They're like, "All right, what's next?" But the teachers were laughing, putting their pencil on their lesson plan down, listening. And I began speaking to them, the adults in the audience. And it just one school to another. And then somewhere along the way, I met a lady named Cynthia Brown in North Carolina who was a storyteller. She said, "You," like she's anointing me, "are a storyteller." I was like,
mantle.
Okay.
I see the mantle already.
I mean, right. I walked taller walking out there. Finally, somebody found some kind of definition for my weirdness. And she said, "Join the North Carolina Storytellers Guild." And I fell into this world. There are a bunch of storytellers out there. I went to the National Storytelling Festival. I said, "That's what I want to be." Wow. And just, it became an art. And nobody knew what to do with me. Nobody knew where to put me. She's funny. She tells stories. It's too clean for the comedy clubs. I wasn't that bada bang, and so kind of floundering around different places as an entertainer. And then 15 years ago, I met a humorist named Jeannie Robertson, who's just a legend in the speaking business. And she said, "You need to be a speaker and change the way you wrap this and brand it. And this is the world that'll pay you to tell your stories." And she was right. And I haven't looked back. So that's a long-winded answer. Be careful.
No, it is. And I love that, because you have so many, we're finding that. And if you look, most of us, I mean, we just got back from a growth conference. We went to a growth summit in Phoenix, and, there was the percentage of women to men speakers was pitiful. And I just really love that. I almost felt like sometimes they threw someone in just so that they got the number up a little bit. But I thought, wow, we need women stepping up, stepping on stage and sharing their story.
We do. And they're there. So in respect for my women speaker friends, they exist and they're there, and there are some rock stars. But we can't blame it all on the men either, because there's some things we're doing to hold ourselves back. Yes, some of them are responsible for not putting women on the docket, but at the same time, I'm seeing women not taking risks, not getting their material up to where it should be, not working harder to break the glass ceiling, so to speak, or just not having the courage to try it all. So that's just kind of my little soapbox about that. I love that.
No, that is so good. That is so good. And I feel challenged.
And how would you encourage women to do that? Give them 3 tips on I hear the courage and whatnot.
Yeah, the first thing you need to do is you need to honor your gift. And I get it. I get that it doesn't feel like it's that important. I get that somebody told you were stupid, or told you didn't matter, or that they didn't care what you had to say. There are many of us walking around with serious baggage. Sure. And we're not even believing in what we're doing to begin with. And so if I'm getting on a sales call and it's a bunch of men that want to hire me, and I used to tell myself from the get-go, I go, "Oh, these people don't want me. I don't want to speak. These men don't care what I have to say." And I would begin this negative self-talk over and over, and that projects out to them. The biggest change I made in my career, when people are like, it started taking off, and how did you start making more money? I'm like, y'all, it wasn't a secret. It was up here in my head. It was the moment I began to have power up here and go into a sales call going, "Oh, you better be lucky if you can get me. I'm busy. I'm in demand. I have something." And that courage you bring to the stage. And let me tell you, it's taken me 30 years to get here. So it's easier said than done.
I love that real statement. Thank you, Kelly. Because most people think, I'll say women, most of us think, okay, well, I can do that. Give me a week or two. And you can't. Like you say, it's ongoing. I've met more strong women like you in the past few years that have all said, I don't feel worthless. I feel worthless. I'm still working on it. And when they're in front of the room, like you, who are not only gifted, but crack me up, which if it's not fun, I can't do it anyhow. You saying that I think freed me. I don't know about anybody else. It freed me. Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
much.
I want to say something else too. Don't wait to feel brave. I'm not always standing up there on that stage feeling confident about where I am. I'm noticing the people who are asleep in the back row, or the comment somebody put on LinkedIn that said I sounded like a dying cat. I mean, there's always going to be toxic people. There's always going to be haters. And many of us think that we're in this eternal quest to make fear go away. And we're not. It's always going to be there. It's going to take a different shape. I always tell people, and it sounds hokey, make your dream bigger than your fear. I want this so bad that I'm going to jump anyway, and don't wait to feel brave. You need to choose brave. You just suck it up, take a deep breath, and jump. And I know that sounds pat, but don't wait you are going to be scared. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It's always, that fear is always going to be there. And I'm afraid of different things now. I'm not worried that I won't remember my lines or that I don't know my content or my area of expertise. I'm afraid. In fact, I worry more now about my ability to really touch people on a very deep level. I worry, can I get out of the way enough that these people in this prison, or these people in this Amish dairy farm country, or these people who are so unlike me, can I find a way to connect on a deeper level with them and get out of the way so that I'm not just another talking head to them?
I love that art of connection, because I too was stalking a bit. No. Okay. Anyhow, we can do that in California, but anyhow, I was looking at and listening and just absorbing so much of your just awesome stuff, awesomeness on your website, and that art of connection really resonated with me. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. At some point in my journey, I began to see that I wasn't just being an entertainer, that these stories were making people cry. They were changing their lives. They were writing me letters years later, and something shifted. And I went, oh my gosh, this isn't about me. This is not a chance for me to get up here and perform. This is not about how good my hair looks or doesn't look today. Apologies to those watching, but it isn't about the performance. It's just a conversation. And so that's when everything shifted. And I went, wait a minute. Now I don't always get it right, but I'm going to stop worrying so much about how I look when I serve. I mean, we don't worry when we go into the soup kitchen, whether we look good when we serve. It's irrelevant to us how we look doing it. So I'm going to stop worrying so much about how I look when I do it. And I'm going to start thinking about what they need to hear, and not in a manipulative way.
No.
But and that's what connection is about. That's why I love storytelling, because my content can't open that up in people. But man, you tell a story and they don't even have to have had that same experience. They've had the same emotions. And their brain, I'll try not to get too geeky sciencey, but their brain is doing something when you're telling your story, and it's going through its database and it's finding the matching emotion and the time they had. So they're standing in their story at the same time they're standing in yours, and you have an emotional connection that data can't and information can't have. And one thing tacked onto that, I'm not saying it very well. I understand what I mean, but sometimes it doesn't come out in a clear way. But one thing I learned about connection, and it's not a secret, but people say, why is she so successful? Why do I get standing ovations? Why do I get booked over and over when I am not the cookie cutter look for the speaking business? I'm not commercial. I'm not the package. I'm a plus size woman with pants that drag queens help me decorate. I wear hair pieces and glitter on my fingernails. And I'm just the tackiest thing you ever seen. And I'm going to tell you what, and I talk about things like drawing on my eyebrows and and all these real life things. And I'm telling you, it's like putting chum in the water. People are desperate for authenticity and real, and that frees them. And when I realized, oh my gosh, the messier I get, the more connection, and I hate to use the word success, it's such an overused word, but the more I fly, in this business. And that to me is what connection is how do we find this way to leave an emotional footprint with people?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it means to me.
Well, I would yell hallelujah, but the neighbors
Woo!
might.
Yeah. I have my favorite story is your chub rub story. And I just can't,
it's on Goldcast. Y'all got to find it on Goldcast. It got a ton of views.
Oh, I loved it.
Watched it on YouTube and it made me laugh because and I just am connecting the dots here because, like you said, your brain. I'm the science nerd in the group here between the two of us, and I realized my brain did do that because as you were telling the story, it reminded me of speaking somewhere, thinking I was so cute, hair perfect, everything's perfect, and by the time I got there, I looked down and I had spit toothpaste all over my shirt, hairpins were popping out, and I just took my shoes off, shook my hair and jumped on stage, and I realized I'm just doing this like this because I was in my way before. I was so about me that I was in the way and I couldn't make a connection to my audience. But when I was able to just get barefooted and stop thinking about how I looked, that chub rub story, I don't know, is there a way you can just tell us that story? And I mean, we have
Lord,
time.
no, there's no way.
You have to go on YouTube.
Even the short version is long. It's on YouTube. Goldcast really cut it down. So if you look on Goldcast on Facebook, just find their page, Goldcast Kelly Swanson, or even my website. But basically, to just not totally offend anybody in the audience, let me just tell you, I went to a very important networking event and I bought sequin palazzo pants. And I didn't realize the sound that my thighs were going to make when all those sequins start engaging in Mortal Kombat. It's like, it was and so what's supposed to be the best night of my life turns out to be yet again another you can't make this up moment with Kelly Swanson. And it's a beautiful, it's funny, we can all relate to it, and yet it's a deeper message about it's not our perfections that matter. It's actually our imperfections that connect us in this world. And if you want to, not to get too businessy, I don't know how much many of your listeners are coming to it, applying this to a business perspective, but man, in this world, no matter what your business, no matter what your industry, if you can connect and engage on an emotional level and get real with your market and your customer and your brand and in sales, I mean, you've got a definite advantage. And there's science to back it up. And I can give y'all a resource later to a free gift that they can access some extra information about.
Free gifts are good. Our people love free gifts.
Good.
For real. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I remember one of the several times I was on stage and I thought I was a complete idiot. I was crying. I was told by this seminar company that I was a part of, okay, you're on now. And I'm like, not me. I mean, I know you mean somebody behind me. When I got up there, I literally did what they taught me to do, stopped thinking up here, dropped down to my heart. That's why I love your connection so much. And I went there and girl, I started to cry. And I thought, well, I've made a complete buffoon of myself. I got a standing ovation and I was kind of embarrassed because I thought, oh, they pity me because I was crying. When in fact, I had women come up to me. To this day, it still warms my heart and just, I still can't believe it, but I was glad like you. I knew I impacted somebody. And that's when I got my first addiction, my first little hit. I'm a California girl. My first little hit of, I want to do more of that. I don't care if it's in my living room. I don't care if it's in the grocery store. If I can impact somebody heart to heart, and I'm kind of like you, Kelly. I'm not quite as funny as you, but dang, girl, I'm gonna try. I'll just be me. Humor always sucks them in, but then when we get into the vulnerability, when we go down and meet them where they're at, and I didn't know I was doing that because I was brand new to that stage stuff. And I mean, I was still like, thank you so much. Like I said, you really freed me. I was so afraid every time they threw me up there, and then different MLMs I was in, they'd throw me up there, and I'm thinking, don't throw me up, throw somebody else up. I don't even know how to do that. And then whatever I would do, because I was like, oh, I got to say something, I'd get people in the back of the room go, you just made a difference in my life. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. And I'm thinking, what the hell did I say? I don't know what I said.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, isn't it? As long as as long as it's real. I'm not saying you weren't, but I've seen it when it's put on.
Absolutely.
And that's not okay. And as long as you're okay. And I get a lot of people ask me that they're because it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to share your pain and where you are and tear up. And some people, some of these women listening have really painful stories, and they'll often ask me, I don't know if it's okay to tell this. And the first thing I say is, well, I need you to be okay first. Yeah. We need you to be okay. So as long as a friend of mine says, don't ever tell a story you're not finished bleeding from. So, isn't that beautiful?
You got to say that. Never tell a story you're not finished bleeding from.
Right. That's Jeffrey Van Dyke, my friend. He's out in California. But yeah, so you need to be okay, because we need to know you're okay. Now, we can still see emotion, and we still want that vulnerability. But I've also seen people that they couldn't get themselves back together because it was too soon. It was too soon opening that door. They weren't ready yet. I just wanted to kind of throw that, because I know somebody listening has that same desire and that pull to get up there and share something really raw and painful. And it's not an easy thing to do.
It isn't. And in our industry, we're new to the podcast, and we just launched in June, but this is a spot where that was the reason we called it the For Real Life, is where we can sit and be for real. And we're going to put things out there that we hopefully, I love that we have stopped. Maybe we're done bleeding with, maybe some are still a little oozing here and there, but people can use it to hurt you. And there's a lot of things that are out there that we are finding in this industry. The successful podcasts are the ones, you may not be a stage, but this is its own stage virtually, where telling your story. And I want to jump into that as a motivational speaker and business coaching to like corporate America. But today, would you talk to, let's hone into like the comedian, the funny speaker, but how you are teaching women to laugh and embrace their uniqueness.
Okay, wait, I need you to ask. I thought you were going in a different direction, so I got confused.
No,
and wait, let me go ahead and say you're going to hear a jingle, because there is my fur baby is nearby. And when he knows I'm on a podcast or a webinar, he's going to come and he's going to peek in the screen, and it's all good and it's okay. And I've learned to just go with the flow. So anyway, but Charlie, I thought you were going to take it in a business direction, but we went in ask me the question.
I know you
again.
do that. Yeah. I know that you do business coaching. You go into corporate America and you teach them about telling the story and how to be authentic in the sale. So that is another part we can come back to and talk to our business audience. But today, can we talk to the comedian motivational speaker, but the Kelly who actually teaches women how to laugh and embrace their uniqueness?
Yes. You got her. What do you want to ask her?
Here I am.
The first She's long-winded, so she'd like a question.
Good.
Or she'll just shoot off. Good. But yeah, you got her.
What is one of the most common things that you find out that we have, the common woman here, everyday real woman? One of the reasons we started this is because women were saying they didn't have friends, or they're stuck and they're hiding away. They're playing invisible and playing small. What is the thing holding women back that you're seeing as the most common thing?
Okay, no question about it. It's the story you're writing in your head. It's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of resources. You can go figure out how to go do all that. The thing that I see that stops most of us is this storyline that we are writing in our heads. The first thing is, half the time we're not even aware of what the voice is saying. There's that awareness to, first of all, you need to be aware of how powerful it is, that the brain believes what you tell it. And so if you're going to continue to say, I'm stupid, I can't get this, I can't lose weight, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't like working out, whatever it may be, your brain and your body are just going to start to obey like you're feeding it information. So for me, especially for a lot of years, I didn't even realize for some script run through that and the power it was having over my life. Now, we've probably got some law of attraction fans on here. We probably got some other people who aren't fans of it, but there is something to be said for the power of what you think and what you say, attracting what you want. And I've seen it play out in my life, and I can't explain it in a good way. But so the first thing is, be aware that voice inside your head is stronger than you think. And it's dictating your attitudes, your actions, and your behaviors. And then the second thing is, go look at it. What's it saying? What is one thing that you've been telling yourself for years that is negative? For me, it was, men don't care what I have to say. Now, we don't need to talk about where that came from, but every male audience, every man that called me on the phone, my brain would immediately write a story that says, you're not good enough. They don't care about this. You're not a real businesswoman. It's that imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it. So I had to start really honing down to one specific thing. Because it's great to go, okay, we'll be positive, kumbaya. I mean, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
So what is this one thing? And then how am I going to reprogram? And so the next step is, okay, well, if this isn't true, and you got to look at it, is it true or not? Do men care what I have to say? I mean, sometimes it might be true. People think you're mean. You might be mean, but if you think men don't care, I had to go, well, wait a minute. Look at the evidence. The evidence doesn't support this. My best friends are men. I have men in my clients. More men cry in my programs than women do. This is not true information. And I can't go too deep into it because it's not my area of expertise. But in a book called The Healing Code, it actually makes a comment that says we have memories buried really deep in ourselves and triggers. And that when the head and the heart disagree, the heart usually wins. So you can intellectually think, but I do matter. But if your heart doesn't believe it, then the heart tends to win. So I had to really learn how to reprogram. And it doesn't happen in 24 hours. Every time it came up, what's behind this? What's the truth statement I'm going to replace it with? I mean, you literally are brainwashing yourself to believe a different truth. Who gets to define who you are? Why? And I'm a woman of faith. So I was letting the world dictate what I believe about myself when my own faith told me that it's not about what the world thinks. That my spirit is much deeper than that. So I know I'm rambling. And then I had to learn how to change that behavior. And there's one trick social workers use. They do the rubber band around the wrist.
Yes.
And you snap it every time. And I won't go too. But those little things that you actually go, and I've been working on that one phrase, and I'm pretty much beat it now. Now I get on the phone and I might be overly confident, but now I go on the stage and I'm thinking that in my head I'm looking at them. I believe this. I know what I'm talking about, and they pick up on what you project out. Sure. Yeah. So I don't know. Did I see? That's why. And you had a question, and look how long it took me to answer.
No, that was a really great. I love that that's holding you back. And the thing that I'll go to the nerd science part of this. You have a reticular activator in your brain. It's called the reticular activator.
That sounds bad.
RAS, the reticular activating system. So what happens, it's the same system that if I say, ooh, I love that new yellow car, and all of a sudden, all I see is yellow cars. You can call it the law of attraction. You can call it reaping and sowing. There's so many things, but what happens is something in your brain clicks, and now you will see that yellow car 50 gajillion times all day long. The same thing happens when you tell yourself something. Your mind will find ways to reinforce it to say, yes, that's true. So
bingo. If you look for joy,
attracting it,
you'll find it.
Yes.
And if you look for bitterness, you will find it. And I know that because I got family members that their only mission in life is to find out what everybody's doing wrong today. Yes. And they will never be disappointed.
Yes, right. We started a new thing, and everyone's gonna say duh, but we really reinforce on here about being grateful and what you're grateful for. What my husband and I started doing is every morning saying, what was one thing that you were grateful for yesterday? So what happens, it causes us then today to be mindful that he's going to ask me this question. I better have an answer that's different than yesterday. So I'm looking now for stuff to be grateful for all day long so that I have a new answer.
Yes, I love that. I'm trying to do more of that, even if it's just laying in bed in the morning and going, oh, God, it feels so good to breathe all the way in. I remember a time when I was having an issue with my lungs and I couldn't. And, oh, gosh, it's nice to be able to pay the bills. Remember, sometimes I'll go to my husband and go, remember that day when we couldn't decide which bill we were going to pay? Mm-hmm. Remember what that felt like? Mm-hmm. Yes. One thing I'm trying to do as well is, this is my current issue I'm working on, and we're always working on something. I don't believe we ever get there, but people would say, why are you working so hard? Why are you, you're just burning it at both ends. And I said, well, I'm making hay while the sun shines is kind of my phrase. I'm pushing it. I'm riding the wave. I said, cause I don't know what's going to happen. What if something happens to my husband? What if I can't work? What if I can't? And finally, one of my law of attraction friends said, would you please stop walking around going, what if I get sick? What if I can't she goes, please rephrase that I'm sitting there just constantly in a state of there's that's
stress.
not
stress.
Well, stress, but not only if there's something to be said for you're going to attract what you're looking for,
right.
and you're constantly you're saying you're going to get sick and not be able to do this.
Yep.
Who's to say? So I had to learn to rephrase it to give you an example. And now I'm like, oh, I'm making choices for myself. I'm building a future. I'm creating luxuries of knowing that I have, anyway, that's just one example of where I'm trying to really be not just grateful for today and yesterday too, but
power of the tongue.
Power of the tongue. Yeah. And what we worry about. Let's don't worry about. Let's focus on what we want. And that's what one of my friends says, focus on what you want. Celebrate women who get what you want and really celebrate it. Be happy, honor it, and be so excited and go, I can't wait because I'm going to bring that into my life as well. Instead of tearing each other down. Sorry, darling.
No, not at all. I apologize for talking over you. The what do you want always hits me between the eyes, because for years, 30 years at least, I've been working with women and ask, what do you want? And they'll tell you what they don't want. And so I let them go ahead and, vomit all that on me first. Okay, put that down. Now, what do you want? And training that brain, reprogramming it, because I was taught by a multimillionaire gazillion years ago. He says, I got to brainwash you because your brain is dirty. Your brain is dirty. I got to wash it. And washing it with the good stuff takes time. Like you said, we can't just throw it in and expect this microwave society to say, well, there, I'm over that pain. Now I know what guys talk, listen to me. And no, it took you a while. We'll just leave it at that. I don't need exact, time frame, but it took you a while to get over that pain with the rubber band on you, whatever it took. Now, like you say, we're always in process. I'm not done. God's not done with me yet. And I'm not done doing what he wants me to do.
And on the flip side, and I'll sound kind of mean when I say this, but this is a get real show. And I believe in just putting it out there.
Please.
Is I see a lot of women use that as an excuse as well.
Yes.
Where, I'm not getting this because this, and I'm like, no, honey, this isn't limiting belief. This is, you didn't work hard enough to create a product worth selling.
Thank you.
Don't hide behind the fact that now you just need to wait for it to show up on your door because you're good enough. Your issue is not always how good you feel about yourself. I mean, and I know that sounds mean, but I mean, we have to, there is something to be said for working at it, making it happen. It's a sales problem is not a lack of limited, and so many slap that limiting beliefs Band-Aid on everything. Like, you're just not dreaming big enough. Yeah. I'm like, no, you're dreaming big enough. Your product sucks. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you can say that here. So I love this because I just had a conversation with someone the other day about saying they're attracting all the wrong men. I said, well, what are you putting out there? Tell me what kind of man you're looking for. And they I want him fit and I want him funny and I want him smart. I said, okay, well, when's the last time you were at the gym?
Yeah.
Oh, well, are you who he's looking for? Because that guy is going to be looking for a certain woman. So maybe make a list of who is he looking for and does it align with who you are? I don't want you to turn into another person for this man, but does it align with who you are? If you're not a gym person, then you probably shouldn't want someone super healthy because they're not going to be happy if you're not super healthy. And like you said, same thing with your business. If you're not doing the work, you can't just be sitting there going, I don't know why I'm not getting any sales. Well, how many calls did you make today? Well, none. Oh, I gave my card out to 20 people though.
That's where I was coming in the beginning about the women getting these same opportunities, because I don't want the opportunity just because somebody told you don't have enough women. Right. I want the opportunity because I deserved it and I am good at what I do. And I don't want to be maybe I've got too much pride, but I don't want to be handed it just because, okay, we had too many. I want us to earn our way into that. And I see a lot of women. Somebody asked me once, why aren't there more women getting these big jobs, in the speaking business? And I said, well, there is still some of that. We're just going to hire a man there, or we're men's, whatever. There's still a lot of that. There's still a lot of dirty stuff that shouldn't be going on. I said, however, you've also got a lot of women that they're just not good enough. They're not taking risks. They're in this cookie cutter that I could line them up and they all look the same, like a commodity. And men, now, granted, Men have had a lot longer to be taking risks and to be putting themselves out there. And for many of us, this is still fairly new in our culture or our generation line. But I'm like, ladies, step up that game. I mean, we don't have to be men, and we don't have to act like them and look like them and do what they do. I mean, but I just think too, it requires boldness that many of us as women are afraid to bring. We're afraid to speak up. And even I still get a little bit, feel like I'm getting slapped down. And so anyway, I don't know. I just,
I love that. I was always the girl that everyone told, shh, you're talking too loud. Okay, shh, quit, and, trying to make you invisible and small and sit you in the corner. So we've talked about a little bit about people in business. We've talked about what's holding women back. What I'd like to talk about is we have women who, they're not entrepreneurs. They're not out there movers and shakers. And I mean, in what we would term that, there are women moving and shaking in their homes. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who are building the next generation. They're saying they're women that are building beautiful homes, and that's their career. Can you speak? How does the power of story work for those women?
Again, it comes down to, I've heard so many people say, I'm just a mom. And that breaks my heart. Oh, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. I don't do anything. I'm just a mom. Oh, now in our house, the roles are less traditional. They flipped. It used to be that I was home with my son. We've homeschooled too, so we have a real weird dynamic. He's in school now, but so where I was doing things more domestically, I still don't even know how to get the wording around it. My husband was gone a lot, and then it flipped. And now my husband's the one, that he's doing a lot of the stuff here in the home and getting my son where he needs to be. And I've got, certain people in my family that are still like, what, this is weird. This is weird. But it really showed me the two perspectives, and growing up in a very traditional, conservative family where the women all played the same role can kind of do a number on your head.
Yes.
But I really saw in flipping it, what value there is on that person that is doing the work inside the house, that allows me as the one doing the work outside the house to get to do what I want to do, and how important it is. It's not just a meal on a table at 6:00 or whatever. I mean, who eats at a table anymore? But anyway, so I want to speak to those people in the home that the first thing is, if you're thinking of yourself as just a mom or less important, and I know, man, our kids aren't going to be the one who are going to build us up. That's for sure. And maybe not even our spouse. But I always keep going back to the storyline running through your head, because it's the only thing you can change. It's the whole life can be the same way tomorrow as it was today. But if you change the way you see it, change the way you look at it, the way you define yourself and your dreams, you can change the way your life feels. And nobody's going to do it but you. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to come along and tell you how much you matter, how much you're worth it. But I know there are a lot of the people I know, the women I know who are in the home, are struggling with way too much to do and very little time to do it. We're in a society where everything, they tell you that you just got to be doing all of this stuff, and it's killing us. It's killing us.
Perfect. It has to be Pinterest perfect.
Oh, it's killing us. And then we get on Facebook and we see, oh my God, that kid can read, and look how great their kids are. And look, and this comparison trap, it's just really, it's weighing people down. And how do I answer it succinctly? Again, it's all about the story that you write. But the first bit of encouragement I would give to the women listening, and many times it's men, by the way, there are a lot of men who are in that role right now, is I would say, I need you to remind yourself and continue to remind yourself how important your job is, and how much you matter, and that the world doesn't get to tell you what a good mother looks like. Your mother doesn't get to tell you his mother doesn't get to tell you what a good, you're the author of this fairy tale. You are writing this story. And at the end of the day, that's all you have to answer to. You don't have to answer to your neighbor. And behind every pretty looking house on the inside, everybody's got dust bunnies. Everybody's got dirt. Everybody's got baggage. So this whole, I've got to keep up and I've got to look this certain way. I heard somebody once say, if you went to live on a deserted island with your family and there was nobody else, would it change the way you live? And it was just a radical, wow. I mean, it was just like, whoa, it made me really think of all the things I would stop doing. So you've got those people listening, And then I'll mention one others and give them some encouragement, and then you can guide me in a different direction if you want. Now there are those who their kids are gone, they've left the house, or they're older now they don't want to be around them at all, they're not cool anymore, and they're, for many, like the women in my families, their job's done, and yet they don't know what to do now. And so there's a sense of what's my purpose, what am I meant to do, what's the next act look like. Everything for me, my worth has been wrapped up in what these children are doing, and now they're not here anymore. What do I do next? I had one lady come up to me. I was at a women's retreat, and she said, my children have all moved out. And she said, my husband makes enough money. I don't need to go get a job or anything like that. And she said, I do not know what to do with the rest of my life. And she was in her 60s and young, and, and I said, she just was really coming, like, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And that took a minute, because there's many, you can ask the women in my family. Right off. No. Oh no, many of mine they'll never know that question. They can't even open the door.
I didn't even know what kind of yogurt I liked, because I'm so used to picking what he liked. So I
didn't even know what I wanted my look to be, because I was so used to seeing how, I can start wearing cowboy boots if that's what I want. So anyway, I said to this woman, what do you want to be? And she says, I think I want to be a mom. And I went, what? Like a mom? Like dressed all in black, like a mom? And she said, yeah, I've always been intrigued by that. I thought it would be fascinating. I think I'd like to give that a try. And I go, okay, well then go do it. And she went, oh, no, I can't. And I said, why? And she said, well, what would the kids say? The kids will think it's crazy. I was like, yeah, they probably will. She goes, well, I don't know how to do it. I was like, well, I've got some friends who are moms, believe it or not. When you're a storyteller, you got friends who are moms. We can hire somebody to come down. I'll take a class with you. Yeah. We'll take a mom class together. Wouldn't it be fun? And she's like, well, I don't know that I'd be any good at it. And I goes, no, you might not be. She goes, well, I don't even know that if I'll make any money. I was like, oh, you might not. So why not? And I said, why don't you make a point? I gave her some kind of on Monday, go back, send me an email, and I'll reach out to my mom friend, and we'll get this ball rolling. And at the very least, we'll just go take a class. And I never heard from her again. And I hope that, that she went off and found her purpose. But a lot of people are standing in that. What would you do? Right now, I'm asking you, women who are listening, or men, what would you do if you were brave? What do you want to do? And let them just at least step up to it and look at it like she did. What would it be? If money were no object, time were no object, and then why not do it? Yeah, you might fail. Yeah, you might not be good at it. Yeah, you might not make any money. Who cares? So what? I don't know. I don't know how to, and maybe y'all can find those encouraging words for those people who are standing there going, what's next?
That is
It's the reason we started the podcast.
I can't even talk. Go ahead.
She can't talk. Okay. She's verklempt. Discuss. Okay. We started this podcast. It's real. I mean, we started this podcast because we have these women who say, I don't know what I want to do. And we would, have these conversations on the phone. And I said, we should be recording this. And then it turns into a podcast. But it's about being real. We have everyone who's listening is like, I'm done. And my kids are gone. And I'm listening to a book. And I'll not even get into it. But part of it, he was saying how God is this amazing, is the sun, let's say, and we are not little gods, but we are actually parts of the light. Okay, we're parts of his rays of light beings. And sometimes we get so caught up in our identity, in these identities of who we are, that we don't focus on who we're supposed to be. And sometimes the be part changes. So now I'm supposed to be a mother, and I'm supposed to be doing this. Well, that's gone. Now I'm changing characters. I have a new character. My light being is still the same inside of me, but now I get to play a different role. So what's the new role that I get to play? And the example he gave was with Kurt Russell was seeing, this is actually a rabbi that is teaching this class. And he says, Kurt Russell comes to him and was talking about how he was so excited because he got this new role as Van Gogh in this. And John Wayne called him and said, well, partner, why you get such a sissy role? You're a tough guy. You ain't supposed to be, us guys have to stick together. And he's like, John, you're not a cowboy. you're an actor. That's not who you are. You're so caught up in this only can do this one thing. I want to be an actor, and I want to be all the things. I want to be who I want to be who I'm created to be. I want to walk in the different roles. And sometimes we get so focused on a role that when the role is over, we can't be the mime next.
Well, there's no script, and Kelly apologized for getting real emotional there, because I never used to be that way. However, in this state of my life, this chapter of my life, I tend to do that more than usual, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I was taught it wasn't okay, and I have worked that brain cell for 40 years to say F that. It is okay.
It is okay.
It is okay.
It's
Don't
okay
like my tears? Look the other way. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I just don't always like to blubber, on my microphone. I want to keep it clean. But anyhow, that whole generation, because I am way over 60, had 70th birthday this year and was excited because I still matter. But at 50, when the kids are gone and when all of the major responsibilities are gone, and then we jump up to 60s, Kelly, you are 120% right. Women don't know that age group. So for those that are listening that are in that age group, now what do I do? Now what do I do? There's no outline. There's no script. There's not a lot of people out there, honestly, that are 60 and 70 that those of us that are that age look at and go, oh, I want to do that now. So even that gal saying, I want to be a mime, that was a stretch for her, and you know it.
Oh, I know.
And then who knows if she even did it?
I know. Well, and society starts erasing you when you get to a certain point. They do. They just start erasing you. Yet people are living a long time.
Yes.
A long time. They're starting second careers. They're going to college. My sister's kid just graduated, and she went to law school and just got past the bar and got signed or whatever, sworn in as an attorney. Was the oldest one in her class, but people are living a really long time.
Yeah.
So that, and that shouldn't even matter anyway. I figured out a new way now that it percolated for a minute of how to word this. Because y'all are so right. We look for the next role. We look for the next label that society created for us. And I hate to always keep saying society, but society does a number on us. And what if it's not about a role? What if it's because I do believe your next adventure or your calling, if you're still here, you matter. And when I tell audiences that, you can see them just break down right there because they've been discounted. But anyway, I believe that your purpose might already be here. And because we're so busy looking for the label or the role, we might be missing it. And maybe a better way, and this is a question I asked myself a lot, even in business, what's my gift? And how do you, especially if you come from a faith perspective, how do you want me to use the gift you've given me? Mm-hmm. Where do you want me to go? What's your gift? What's your, I don't have time to do my story of Ethel in the nursing home. And if you can go find it on YouTube, it's just a beautiful, I think Goldcast is going to do that one next, but it's just a beautiful story of me telling stories in the nursing home and Ethel who would sing every Tuesday. And it was a moment in my career when that performer light shut off. And I went, no,
it's a beautiful story.
This is what it is. It's about using my gift to be somebody else's. I am becoming somebody else's drink of water. And now I can see my role as a job or as a service or as whatever the world wants to call it. But when you can look at your next adventure as, what's your calling? What's your legacy? What is your gift? You're using your gift to be somebody else's. It charges you up. You tap into a higher sense of purpose. And that gift could be, and people minimize it. And they think because it's easy for them to do, it must not be a big deal. I used to think that, but just because I could tell a story, that wasn't a big deal. It's easy for me. Or somebody thinks, oh, because I can knit somebody's shawls. Yeah, you think that's no big deal, yet you knit shawls for people who have cancer. Go pray over the shawl, and you go wrap them up in it and tell them 100 women prayed over you today, and you don't see that that's a big deal. or cooking, being there for a neighbor, or doing the things right where you are. And many of us don't, when you said what's holding us back, a lot of times it's because we don't see it as a gift, because we're too in it. And it feels like just something we've always done. And sometimes I always say it takes a big-haired, big-butted redneck like me to come along and whisper in your ear that you have a gift. And when you hear that, when somebody honors your gift, I need you to honor it and own it and embrace it, because they can see something in you can't see in yourself. And this is, I don't mean to, we're going to keep it real on this. God, I hope you have me back. I love this. This is so much better than a podcast that gives you 47 things you could have looked up on the internet.
Yay.
This is what we need to be having in this world.
Girl, I can't do techie.
Preach.
No, but I mean, this is what we should be having, is conversations where we get real and we get honest with each other.
And women want that.
And
women want that.
Right. And if you're lonely, you don't have to be. And if you need you don't have to be. There are people out there. You can go out there and change your life. You can go find purpose again. And I just believe that. I believe you're only as lonely as you're going to choose to be in your life. Would y'all agree with that?
I would agree 120%.
I always say find someone more lonely. If you're lonely, go find someone more lonely. Go to the convalescent home and see some people who don't get visitors, and start sowing that seed to what you want to crop in. Sow the seed in someone else, and you'll get the crop in your own life.
And you'll come alive. I mean, when you're tapped into your art, for some people it's art.
Right.
One man came up to me at a networking event or something, and he was all gloomy and doom and down in the face. I said, "What's the matter?" And he said, "I just got laid off." He said, "I don't know what I'm going to do. I just lost my job." I said, "Oh, that's awful. I really feel for you." I said, "Can I give you another way to look at it?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Consider looking at it as now you get a chance to do what you always wanted to do."
Love it.
And what would that blank slate look like? And so for many people listening, there is music in them that hasn't been written yet. And don't worry if it's good enough. Nobody cares. It might not be, but good enough for what? Yeah. We don't do it for them. We do it for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go find that, art or music or whatever,
It's a book or
Don't
whatever.
die with your best song yet unsung.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. And I love, we're heading out here to see, we have gone through so much great things, and absolutely you're coming back. We want the fun new project. Your next big thing is Who Hijacked My Fairy Tale, the movie.
Yes, y'all. I'm so excited.
Tell us more.
Y'all, I'm so excited. And I knew it was right when they said, look, it's going to be like starting over here. They don't know who you are in theater. You're going to have to start at small theaters. The money won't be as great. And I was like, I don't care. I'm so excited. And it's just a serendipitous divine appointment, whatever you want to call it. But it's a theater agent reached out to me. They were looking for another. And I've been, by the way, waiting, just for all you listening, for 20 years to do this. This has been what I should have done to begin with. Every other road has been leading to this one, and the timing was not right. And now the timing is right, and it's perfect, even though, anyway. And so she said, she's got a boutique talent agent, wanted one more act. She had moved down to North Carolina where I live, and she wanted one more. She wanted a comedian and wanted to be a woman, preferably Southern. And she went to one of her good friends who runs the theater in my city, who I hadn't seen in 20 years. And he said, you need to go find Kelly Swanson. And long story short, she said, do you want to be another act, and we'll pitch you into theaters? And I said, I don't want to be a stand-up comic. I said, I don't want to be the comedian who comes to town, the bada bang, psh, I don't want that. It makes me throw up in my mouth. I said, but I said, I have a deal. If you give me all the women. Now, if men come, that's fine. I'm getting some pushback from people like, why are you excluding men? But just follow me here.
Yeah.
If you let me just invite the women, and let me talk about muffin tops and eyebrows and ungrateful children and being on the other side of the fairy tale and where did that castle go we were promised, and let me have a colossal girls' night out. I'll do every joke I've ever, I've been working on this material for 20 years. I was like, I could tell the jokes, but let me love on them. Let's have a tacky dress contest. Let's treat it I
love that.
Isn't that great? I was like, let's treat it like a girls' night out where they walk away with crying and arm's length, and it's an event.
Yes.
And she said, all right, sold. And so it's a whirlwind. I didn't know it was going to be like a full-time job getting through the marketing and a whole new website and photo shoots.
Watching your photo shoot made me laugh when you're like
funny?
You're like your Chardonnay bottle. You have to watch the YouTubes to know the Chardonnay joke.
Yes.
But
my church friends are.
Yes, her BFF.
Yes,
Chardonnay.
I'm on a lot more prayer change. Sorry, I don't drink as much as the photos tend to suggest.
I know, isn't that funny?
But it's going to be,
okay.
and the theater in my city. And we haven't even officially started pitching it till this fall for 2020 and 2021. So we don't know where it's going to go, but it doesn't matter. It will go. But my theater said we will be the first to launch her. And so they booked the show. And so January 17, if anybody can get to North Carolina, that's the premiere. We're going to film it. We're just.
I want to be there. I want to fly in for it.
Oh, please come. Please come. It's just going to be. It's just going to be like nothing we have. And it's just the same thing you're doing on your show. And that's what I encourage everybody listening, is that the world needs more of this. Women just reaching out, laughing, getting real and honest, and not being scared to look at some of the things that we're afraid to say out loud.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saying all my whole family. I was born in Greenville, Spartanburg, and whole family still lives in that area. Grew up having to look the right way. You have to work full time, but act like you were a full time mom, and be a full time mom and act like you worked full time. I mean, you had to. Your
whole world could be falling apart, but you were fine as long as your purse matched your
fake
shoes.
It, honey. Gotta fake it.
Oh yes, had it all, and you did not. My mom on her deathbed, I'm not kidding you, looked up at me, and I had my hair slicked back in a tight ponytail, tight knot, with a little running suit on, and she looked at me and said, "Could you go back to the hotel and do your hair? I want to introduce you to my doctor." She died the next day. It was like, what? What? Says it all. That was it. That's her.
I took cotillion and learned how to eat shrimp with a fork, even though we couldn't afford shrimp.
Same.
But I knew what fork to use to eat that shrimp. But I had met a lady in Mississippi who sleeps all night in her makeup. And we're all like, why do you sleep in your makeup? She goes, because if I die, I don't want anybody else doing my makeup. And we all laughed. And then I went home and went, she's got a good idea. I think I'm going to start sleeping in my makeup.
My grandma would say, you got to have the matching underwear in case you get in an accident.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
I don't know that the paramedic's going to really notice that I've got pink and okay, whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
Fun.
Or that somebody in the hospital is standing there going, she didn't wear new underwear today. Check her underwear out. Put her up on the bulletin board.
Because she just got in an accident and crapped herself, so now they're all going to be.
Okay, I have to say, as a nurse, I will tell you what we do know. Here's the tip before we leave.
Oh,
okay.
What we do notice is if you cleaned your belly button out.
You are kidding.
Because we do surgeries all the time, and we do them laparoscopic now, and they go through your belly button, and we have to clean your belly buttons because most people don't clean their belly button.
Well,
I hadn't been in my belly button since middle school.
Thank you.
If they're going to talk crap about you, it's going to be about your belly button, not your panties.
Let them talk, honey. Let them talk.
How deep is the belly button? How deep is it? Seriously. I need to go. Are you allowed to stick things in it like a Q-tip? I bet you're not.
Q-tip. You can stick a Q-tip in there. Everyone go get your Q-tips and clean your belly button.
Because top will disappear. That's
you
what
may
the
have
problem
to have
is.
You may have to have an emergency gallbladder surgery tonight, and we don't want everyone talking about you because you didn't have your belly button clean. So there you go. There's your tip for the day.
I could be 10 pounds lighter, and it's all in my belly button. I'm going to go check.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Let's do it right here.
It's all good. Everybody and kegels. And do your kegels at the same time and check your belly button. This is all happening.
The dog left. Your dog left.
He's gone to go look. He doesn't know he doesn't have a belly button, but he's gone to go look.
Don't do it.
Kelly, thank you for being so real. We are excited. We can't wait to have you back. For sure. We'd love to have you back after you do your first show, so we get to hear all about all the fun of it. And I'm going to look on my calendar, and I'm not too far. I know I'm a plane flight away, or I'll find it. Well, I think this will be so fun and so fun.
Oh, don't forget the free gift I told everybody they could have.
Sure. We're going to put that down in the show notes. We'll also
Are you going to tell us what it is?
Yes, it is. Well, it's not that exciting, but I have I give it to all my audience.
It's a belly button cleaner.
It's a belly button cleaner. It's a picture of the lint out of my belly button, signed by me. Ooh. No, that's funny. Somebody pay for that online. Watch, I bet you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I normally do a text. I normally do a text to join. If you've got anybody outside the United States, though, it doesn't work. But if everybody's inside the United States, well, what it is, it's an online portal. It's got more stories. It's got more motivation. It's got a free copy of my book, The Story Formula, downloadable PDF version. I give that book away in all my speaking events. So you can have a copy of the book. There's an article on the brain and storytelling. There's some stuff to make you more motivated if motivation was really your thing. So I just throw all my goodies in there. And to get to it, how should I do this? I've got either join by text or a link. What do you think your people would prefer?
Both. Join by text. What do they text?
If you join by text, you just text to the number 66866. And again, I'll say that 66866. So it's like you're sending a text to that number. And in the message,
you had an 8 in there. It's all of our Baptists.
I know, right? And I didn't get to choose it either. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so 66866. And then in the message, you just write the letter A. Stands for all I've got. I mean, you just I made it as easy as I could. When I had it 2 words, it led to all kinds of questions. So I just made it the letter A, and then you enter that and you'll get there. If that doesn't work or you want to go another way, then you just need to Google me and find my website. And then there's a tab called free gift. And so you can also get there on there.
And that, I know you're at www.kellyswanson.com. Is that correct?
Nope. That's a boxing commentator in New Zealand. I couldn't get .com. Yeah, I couldn't get .com. So, I mean, maybe you want to have her on your show, but
we love you.
If you Google Kelly Swanson speaker, you'll find me, but it's motivational speaker, kellyswanson.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
I had to do .co. I guess it's the new thing because
it's crazy.
Apparently everyone wants to be Charlie Brown. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. But yeah,
it's
a long domain.
Yeah.
Kelly
There's
Swanson.
only one Darlene Turgeon, sorry.
Is there only one Darlene Turgeon?
Only one, honey.
There
I'm as
can
unique
only
as they
be
come.
one. You got to live into that.
You know, I've got to say this. I have a lot of people that say, well, Darlene, how do you and Charlie find people to be on your podcast? And I said, well, you know, some people we know, some people we don't know, some people she knows, some people I know. And then we do the, hey, God, we need to find some people, women on here that ... and fill in all these things. May I tell you, honestly and for real, you have made my day. In so many ways. I'm going to listen to this podcast personally. I usually listen to them like once. She does the editing, so she has to listen to it a lot more. But I use the age card because I don't have to do that. Okay. But anyhow, but I'm going to listen to this one about 5 more times. And I am going to ask for what I want. We'll see. We'll talk later. You don't have to say it right now. I want this woman on a regular basis, and I'll tell you why. What comes into my heart is we can be of service to you by getting you out into the airwaves because as a partner connection thing. But more importantly, what your gift has got to be given in so many ways, in so many hours. You've got so much in you. So much in you. I feel it, and it just warms me to know. I can't even put it into words, but I just see you being on here as a regular guest. People will look forward to it. This whole dynamics. People love to always say, you know, I can't see you on your podcast, Darlene. It's like, well, you're not supposed to see us, but now they're going to see us because we're going to go on YouTube. You are our first YouTube.
That's exciting. I wish y'all told me I would have put in more hair. So next time I will have more hair. I didn't know I was going to be seen. Thank God I'm not naked. Usually, I know. and let me tell you something.
What I got on underneath it. Okay.
I know, right? We all call it the webinar outfit. You're dressed from the waist up.
Jammies are on the bottom. Yeah.
Yoga pants
on the bottom.
But I want to say something to you too about Darlene. And I believe that things happen for a reason. And Charlie, and I believe in divine appointments. I really do. Amen. And the first 2 thoughts that came into my mind, first of all, and now let me tell you, I cannot count how many people asked me to do a podcast. And I am very close to closing the door on that because I don't have time. And truth be told, a lot of them are incredibly boring to even be on. I can't imagine to then go listen. There's not authenticity. So the name caught me instantly. I went, I'm going to say yes to this one. I liked the whole get real. But as soon as I got on the call, 2 thoughts came into my mind immediately. And then my brain started going, why are you thinking of that? That's weird. You're so dramatic. Why are you bringing stuff like this up? Number one, they need to let people see us on video or y'all on video. There is an element to this that adds more than just, I can't, but that was the first thing, was there's a reason why I am showing up on video and they're going to put this on YouTube, because I think the people at home, if they could see our faces, they could. Now you can't necessarily pop 250 people in your Zoom call, but but there's more warmth when we can talk to faces and see faces. The second thing that popped into my head was, you're going to do this again. And you're probably going to do it more than once. Or in other words, I didn't want to push it on you, but that's exactly what downloaded immediately was, you're going to start. This is not the first time y'all are going to do this. So whatever it looks like, I'm crazy busy, so I need other people to structure. But we
love it. Yeah,
you name it. And I can even feel your audience on here. That's how weird is that?
No, we love that.
Yeah,
we're wanting a community. This is about us. Just our heart was just serving these women, and I'm gonna probably cut all this part out. But one thing I wanted to say to you, and just us, is that when I listened to just went through, watching your videos, and when I was watching them, I got up and I just was pacing my floor. My husband walked in and goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm crying and crying. And I said, "I'm ready." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm ready to do it again." I'll just say, long story short, was on stage for a very long time, got really hurt and shut down, had cancer, hurt my vocal cords, couldn't speak, had to learn to talk, thought my identity crisis, will never sing, speak, do all the things again. And I said, I'm ready. I'm ready to be on stage again. And I said, I was watching this lady, her name's Kelly, and I was just watching her, and I'm ready. I was like all fired up, pacing. So I want to thank you for lighting the fire in me again.
Well, and you've got your voice again. There's a story. Okay, God, now my fingers are itching, the storyteller in me, because you've got a very powerful story about losing your voice and finding it again. I mean, that's it. But I also saw something else. I get like these downloads or whatever, but I saw the real life conference. I saw the way we were bantering with each other when you were like, okay, now I'm going to get geeky on here. I could see a tree. I hate even saying this because you can't throw things around. Don't put this on YouTube.
Oh, this is we're off. Okay, good. I'll pause. Yeah. Hold on, I'll even pause here. I'm pausing. Yeah. We have had so much information, and it's been so real, such great real girlfriend talk. So for those of you who want to get a little backstage pass, you're going to want to head over to Facebook to the For Real Life and hit the join group, and to get into our little secret For Real girls on there, and you get the backstage pass. We'll have some extra footage that we'll be recording with Kelly with some extra special tips. And y'all make sure you go to the show notes, go to YouTube's down in the comments. You're going to see all the ways to follow Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you,
hey,
Kelly.
I can't wait to come back. You ladies rock on.
I can't wait either.
Yeah, all right.
And we sure love you.
Love you too.
For real.